Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633, and we're taking a look at the Transformers Titan Returns Voyager class Galvatron. Now Galvatron is a really good representation of the character, both his robot mode and his main cannon mode. His jet mode looks pretty decent, but it's definitely not something that's important to the character design since it's just a alt mode made for the toy itself. That being said, though, I have some major problems with the toy that a lot of other fans have already addressed, but we'll just quickly go over them. The head, unfortunately, is on a separate piece due to the fact that the faceplate is attached to a spring-loaded mechanism inside of the chest. Now, this is really annoying, because especially when you look at the box, which will look at first, his head is separated on the design, even to the point that the faceplate looked to be originally a part of the head itself. So I don't know what changes led into that, but I just think it's not the best design choice by any means. We have a picture of Galvatron in his 3 modes in the back, and a picture of his headmaster, or Titan Master, known as Nucleon, which is a huge homage to Megatron himself. The side, we have another picture that we've seen on the front. And on the side, it's pretty much the same look otherwise to the Combiner Wars boxes, which can be actually kind of problematic, especially if you're looking around the boxes in general, since the boxes look very similar to the Combiner Wars Voyagers. The figure includes the standard card, along with the stats, which are pretty great for Galvatron there. And we're just going to take it out to the side. We'll now look at Galvatron itself. Now, unfortunately, due to the fact that the faceplate is attached to the spring mechanism inside the chest, his head can't really turn. And even if it does, as you can see, it doesn't go with the faceplate. So you're just making it look like he's looking into some kind of window and he's turning his head around, and it just looks really awkward, and I really don't know why they decided to go with that. Other points of articulation is he's got ratchets on the shoulders that go forward really nicely, and it snaps pretty decently when moving it side by side. Unfortunately, another problem is the fusion cannon in itself. Due to the way that the fusion cannon is placed, all you could pretty much do with this hand is like this. You can move it outwards, but unfortunately this does get in the way of the elbows on the side. So the only way to give him elbows is to remove the fusion cannon itself. Now, both sides are going to be the same. It has the same peg holes on both sides. You can place the fusion cannon on the other side if you wished. While it is still far more impressive than the Universe Deluxe, it does have its own set of problems, which I really don't understand why Hasbro decided to go with that. His shoulders can move up and down due to transformation. He does have double joints in the elbows, but no swivels, at least in the elbow part itself. It does swivel up on the shoulder part, just not on the elbow itself. And his hands can pivot a bit due to transformation. He has waist articulation, but due to the way the transformation is, you have to place the back panel there. It does hinder it ever so slightly. He has ratchets in the hips. Not as tight as the one in the shoulders, but it works nicely for what it needs to do. He does have a really nice knee joint. And his feet can pivot, once again, due to transformation, but it does have a separate pivot joint, so at least I give credit to Hasbro design team for that. That's pretty much the main basis for his articulation. To transform him, though, we're actually going to remove the Headmaster first, or Titan Master in this line. And before we go to the transformation, we're actually going to take a look at the Titan Master close up. I'm trying to keep him standing. Here is Nucleon, just as a head form. This faceplate cannot collapse, which is a huge problem. I mean, it's not really a big deal, but it would be nice if it was able to collapse so that it's not visible in the main mode. To transform it, all you need to do is move down the legs, and there you go. Articulation-wise, is the head is on a ball joint, which is really kind of scary when you plug it in, because it's really small. And ball joints in the shoulders, but you can't really move it too much. And its legs, similar to just Headmaster's releases in general in this style, it has a single joint that could bend like that due to transformation. So we're just going to take the Titan Master to the side and go on to the rest of the transformation. We're going to open up this chest panel, collapse the head, and make sure that you actually hold onto it so that it actually snaps into place. Otherwise, it'll just flip up as you've seen there. We're going to push away the hands on both sides, and these will actually clip onto a little peg on his shoulders. So, just going to peg in. There we go. Same thing for the other side. And then we're going to push down these components here. These will form the treads of his tank mode. Well, not tank mode, the cannon mode, to be more precise. We're actually going to keep this here, but we're going to open this up, since we're actually going to put away the Titan Master, which is a really nice place to actually store it inside the vehicle mode itself, so that you won't lose it. I really appreciate that. And it does actually snap in really well, and there isn't any problem. As long as you're not putting force, it's not going to open up, so that's really nice. We're actually going to push these down like this, and this will form the front of his cannon mode. So that pretty much finishes off that part there. We're just going to put that down there. Now for the back, we're actually going to open up this piece here, turn this entire leg around, and this will actually cover up the chest component there. And we're actually going to turn these, since I've got them all mixed up now. There we go. So, we almost got the full cannon mode. To finish it off, we're going to open up the leg panels here, collapse the feet, turn these around, collapse the panels onto the side of the legs, and the legs will actually collapse inside the opening here. And then you just peg them together to form the back piece of the cannon mode. So now it's almost done. To finish it off, we're actually going to take the fusion cannon, push this down, go like this, and then we're going to plug this in, collapse these, and now we have the vehicle mode for Galvatron. And here we have Galvatron in his cannon mode. Well, now while this mode itself is not 100% accurate to his animation model, it's well enough represents the full design of the Decepticon leader in his very signature cannon mode, alt mode. Now, this is really cool, actually. I think Hasbro did a very nice job to represent the main mode that the Decepticon leader has been very famous for. You can actually plug in the Titan Master, which doesn't like to stay very well on mine for some reason. But when it does, it should just stay on like this. Unfortunately, for some reason, it doesn't like to stay on very well for mine. Might be a little problem there. But that's pretty much what it can do in this mode. Articulation, you're not going to really get anything in this mode just because he is just a static cannon. However, he has a third alt mode that's actually seen in both the Leader and Voyager class figures of the line, and some of the Legends class. But anyways, we'll now actually open the legs, so they open up like this. We're going to remove this cannon, and what's actually going to take its place is the cockpit. We're going to place this up here so that it forms the back fin. Collapse these so they become the side panels of the jet mode. We're going to transform the arm components as if you're going to turn it back into a robot mode. We're actually going to lay it flat, so it lays flat like this on both sides. Next, we're going to take these, and here are some triangular-like pegs which fit onto these empty little grooves there on both sides. Once you do that, it stays in pretty nicely, as long as you plug it in properly on both sides. And then we're just going to take the fusion cannon and become the main weapon of the jet mode. So now we have Galvatron fully in his jet mode. Now the jet mode is actually pretty cool, actually, for a Galvatron in general. I think it works nicely with the arms and legs in particular positions, and it helps make a actually pretty realistic, in terms of just design, jet mode. There's been a lot of other alt modes that just kind of look like a tacked on design, but I think this is pretty passable as an actual alt mode for the Decepticon leader. We can actually open the cockpit once again, and as we plugged in earlier, since we actually took him out earlier, we can actually make him sit in here, and now he's as if the Titan Master is taking control of the jet mode. And I think that works really nicely. Other than that, there isn't any wheels or anything, even though it has the fake treads and so on. But in terms of actual movement, it just slides across the table. There isn't anything else you can really do in terms of movement on its own. Problems aside, I think Galvatron is a really good representation of the Decepticon leader from the original G1 cartoon series. And I highly recommend picking this up, since this is probably the best Galvatron we'll ever get to this point. And I still think it looks really nice on display on the shelf, and that's pretty much all that matters, at least for me for now. In terms of functionality as a toy, it's still pretty decent, except for the problem with the fusion cannon for articulation and the problem with the head. But other than that, the figure itself is a really good figure released by Hasbro in the Titan Returns toy line. Anyways, I got this alongside the Legends class figures from BBTS, since unfortunately my area decided to raise the Voyagers to around $30, so getting the price in BBTS evens out with all the shipping included from the Legends. It makes me save a little bit more money than actually just getting it in store, unfortunately. But anyways, I highly recommend picking this up, and we'll be back with more reviews in the future. But for now, please check out Hirotaku and Hero Club, and please check down the other channels down below. For now, I'll be seeing you too.